Hello there, crafty doer. Jessica Michaels here, sharing a mixed media layout inspired by an exclusively designed Becky Fleck sketch for a cherry on top, also known as ACOT. If you don't know who they are a small family-owned business of crafts and art supplies. They also have an amazing online community of crafters and makers. In fact, their message board is where my crafty journey began in the fall of 2022. So a huge shout out to all my cherry friends. So to start this layout, I used Woodland and Grove, a paper pad by Maggie Holmes. I used Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo to add a little depth to the corners and will obviously add a little grunge. I splattered with his colored pencils in Vintage Photo and Keach Flamingo. I went ahead and grabbed the Crafters Workshop TCW Stencil Butter in Champagne Cold. That color is the first color that I got when I ventured into mixed media. I loved it because you can use it as an accent or even as your vocal point in your projects. I used Tim Holtz stencil that I got in a stamp and stencil set through Stampers Anonymous. I love these little hexagons. So then I grabbed some masking tape and I used the colored pencil in Vintage Photo to add a little color to it. I'm going to use that as an accent later. Here are the polka dot pieces of paper that I went ahead and splattered some Keach Flamingo on it just to keep the mixed media going throughout the layout. The paper pad has this awesome page with a whole bunch of tickets. I went ahead and trimmed and I tore. And then I inked up with Vintage Photo. I love that ink because it just makes everything vintage. So I have some peeves to pet. I really like overheating my stencil butter, just like you saw, to get that bubbling effect. Let me know what you think. I used my Cricut machine to cut out the sentiment and the title. I also put my Wow embossing pen into the cartridge of my Cricut to help me with those outlines and emboss it with Ranger's Gold embossing powder. I used the same black pen that I used in my Cricut to fill in the gaps in the font. I like to use the same pen, that way I have the same tint of black. Putting together this layout was super easy when you have a sketch to look back on. I love sketches when I hit just a creative block. And I also like them just for a bit of inspiration. So maybe you don't completely go off of the sketch and you just kind of end up doing your own thing. It just really is so much fun to make it your own and watch it come to life. I fiddle with my photos a little bit, looking back at the sketch. I have to remind myself that I don't have to follow the sketch exactly for the reasons that I just mentioned, right? And so when I do that, I was reminded about the tickets that I cut out at the beginning of this project. I meant to use them just like I did instead of the piece of scrapbooking paper behind the photos like you see in the sketch. Go to my blog, craftydoings.com, to see the sketch. Let me know if you end up using the sketch. Maybe you want to participate in the monthly Becky Fleck Sketch challenges at a cherry on top. Let me know if you end up doing that. I took the watercolor pencil to add a little bit more depth to the masking tape. That was a detail I wanted to recreate on the original 12 by 12 paper in the paper pad. It had that on there, but I scrapbook 8 by 8, so when I chopped it to the 8 by 8, I lost that detail, and so I recreated it. Hey, thanks a lot for checking out my first ever creative process video. I appreciate it so much. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. I really do hope you subscribe. I'd love it if you share with all your friends. I'm excited to share more creative process videos with you in the future. I'll see you at the next Crafty Doing.